Hey, everybody. I'm going to wait till everybody joins the live here for a second. How's it going? If you're new here, I'm Ari Jacob, and I like to talk about, I don't know, cancel culture and public backlashes. And so I thought, gosh, why not talk about this whole, I'm going to probably butcher his name. I'm sorry, Brylan. Um, Let me just double check. Is it Brylan? Yeah, Hollyhand? All right, now I gotta read. It's so late. It's about 10 o'clock at night on a school night. Brylan, um, Hollyhand. So this is the guy that I've seen like dozens of articles, people asking, like, is this Charlie Kirk's successor? And let's just let's just start with the post that I actually saw when I first I don't know, I think it was about a week ago, I saw this person trending on my For You page. Actually, I don't know if it was on my TikTok page or my Twitter page, but basically, I see this kid that looks like a young, kind of like Charlie Kirk lookalike or something like that from if Charlie Kirk was like, 18 or 19 or something like that. And so this is my first introduction to Brylan. And so why don't we start there? Because a lot of people, this was their first introduction. Hey, Denise Ellis from Arizona. So a lot of this stuff that's going on kind of, well, tonight there was like an update and there's a lot of stuff happening in Arizona in this sphere. So let's go to the first video here. Here it is. I wasn't super prepared for this live stream, but here I am, guys, because I'm not going to have time to talk about it till later. So, if you guys don't know who I am, by the way, I used to manage a ton of social media stars, and I ended up not doing that anymore because this journalist wrote a false and defamatory article about me. And the only reason I'm mentioning that is because Harmeet Dillon was my attorney one of my attorneys on that lawsuit, and she gets brought up in this conversation about the RNC chairs. So Harmeet Dillon ran to replace, I think her name was Ronna or something like that, the RNC chair that was losing a bunch of elections. And I think even Charlie Kirk was saying, had said in the past something about like, if you don't win, you need to be fired. Basically, you need to be let go. And there's another person from Turning Point that also chimes in that has to do with this. So anyway, I'm going to bring you guys into the lore because I think unless you're like deep into politics or like or chronically online, you might not know the lore about this. And I do think it's super interesting in the sense of anybody wanting to be in a leadership position as a Christian or otherwise, but especially if you want to pick up the microphone in Charlie Kirk's honor, I think it's important to understand a couple principles. And I do think people are well-meaning, 100%. But when you're young, I think you sometimes jump the gun, and depending on your influences around you, may make bad decisions. And that's why I wanted to discuss this because in 100%, I guess, what is it? Transparency. I reached out to some people at TPUSA, letting them know like if they need help and the things that I know how to help with, that like I'm happy to have some conversations. But I think when you talk about mentoring young people, it is quite it's about understanding their culture and their world while also understanding like the implications of politics and professionalism and all these things that need to be considered when you are leading a lot of young people in politics and whatnot. But anyway, all right. So here's my first introduction to Brilyn. Uh-oh. Do not tell me it's not gonna let me share. Oh my gosh, sorry. I updated my computer. Uh-oh. Saying it's not gonna be able to share my screen until I quit and reopen, but I don't want to lose this StreamYard. All right, I'm gonna try it, guys, because if I can't share my screen, then we can't really do a live stream, can we? All right, let me just see. If I go away for like a second, I'm just gonna re-enter the stream. So just bear with me here. I'm back. Are you guys still here? All right, let's try this one more time. I don't think I've ever gone live without some kind of like technical difficulty. So hopefully one day I'll be able to stream and then you guys will just be like, remember back when you used to like have constant problems with on your streams back in the day when you couldn't figure things out. Okay. Is it late where you guys are, or is it? Hello. Where are you guys from? Where are you guys at tonight? I bet none of you guys are in Las Vegas, are you? That's where I'm at. All right, I'm gonna open now. I'm gonna open all of these links again. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. I promise. I promise. At least I was able to come back quickly. That I am proud of myself for. I thought we were gonna be wrecked. Burbank. Okay. Welcome, Burbank. Okay, here we go. So let's start this.
Sold out this campus.
Can you guys hear my screen and everything? Or see it? Hear it and see it? Oh. Can you guys see me, or is yeah, we're live. Can you guys see me, or is the little thumbnail thing like blocking me? Oh, you can see me? Okay, perfect. All right, let's go. So this is my first introduction to this kid.
What's up, America? Brilyn Hollyhand here, about 30,000 feet up. We are on the way to Arkansas. So everybody in line at the University of Arkansas to kick off my 10-stop campus tour. We are coming to you right here, right now. Stay in line. We have gotten a third room. We have sold out this campus stop 3 times, but we are coming to you. We will fit you in. Students will get priority, but we will make it happen. I cannot be more excited. We are back. We are on the road. We're coming to you one conversation at a time. If you're not at the University of Arkansas, we're coming to a campus near you soon. So check out my tour dates. We'll see you super soon. What's up?
Okay, so to be like, I'm just gonna be honest, and I don't want to be mean. For a lot of people, this video was just like a little bit jarring. It was like, wait, why is this kid? It's like, I think it is commendable to go out and talk, especially after what happened to Charlie Kirk. I think you would need a tremendous amount of security as well to pull this off. So I don't even think it's like necessarily a bad thing that if this guy has a bunch of funding or if his parents are wealthy, because let's be honest, if you want to pull off an event, a 10-stop event, college tour, the way Charlie Kirk was doing, obviously you're going to have security measures and all that kind of stuff. At least I wouldn't want my child doing this, even if he was 19 or 20 or whatever, without proper security. So I don't think people would necessarily even dislike it if they found out this guy has money. But just this video, I think it turned a lot of people off, right? So then he posts, because he gets a bunch of negative press. Well, let's look at some of the negative posts, right? So I mean, and some of these are leftist accounts, so you have to take that for what it's worth. But Brilyn Hollyhand, Charlie Kirk's protege. So it's these people are saying, the media and others are saying that he's Charlie Kirk's protege. It's not, anybody official from TPUSA or anything like that. Is getting cooked on Twitter for his private jet tour and potential as Charlie Kirk's successor. Hollyland came out against the keyboard warriors, claiming that the jet was offered by a friend because he couldn't afford it. My brother, you're wearing a Rolex. Zero engagement prior to September. Now he's on a 10-city tour in his private jet. Because Ryland, he posted this. I think he posted this as the underneath the original post. He goes, "Okay, I hear y'all. Glad the keyboard warriors are well." So right here, he's obfuscating responsibility for putting that post out by saying like, "Oh, like, the trolls are out. You guys are trolling me. I see the trolls are out." But some of the criticism, I think, was fair, right? He goes, "Yesterday, I went from English class to a campus speech 10 hours away." So he wants you to like feel bad for him in this. I mean, this is just the way it comes off from like from a media perspective, right? And just from a regular person's perspective. A hometown friend offered to help me get there because I couldn't afford it. That was a mistake. You know what I mean? Like that was a second bad look on top of a first bad look. I'll keep showing up to do the hard work on campuses, and I hope y'all do too. So Charlie Kirk, I saw on a video from earlier this week where one of the guys from Turning Point had said
We have got
that one day he was sitting with Charlie and there was some kind of like scheduling conflict. And basically the guy from Turning Point said, I asked Charlie, why don't we just say that we're doing this XYZ thing instead of basically, why don't we just tell a white lie in order to get out of this, scheduling conflict or something like that. It was basically something inconsequential that he was like, why don't we just tell a little white lie? And apparently Charlie turned around and says, we do not lie here, or we don't lie. And I thought that was really cool because it just shows that even behind closed doors, that Charlie was really principled. And not all of us can do that, right? Like I am guilty of white lies. But the fact that that's how Charlie led, and if Charlie was Ryland's mentor, likely he would tell Ryland, like, we do not lie, right? And so I think that in this situation, Ryland got caught in a bit of a lie here because some other people pointed out that this is a master's polo that costs like $250, that he's wearing a Rolex watch. Now, I can't see from this very well, like if it is a Rolex or whatever. But other people are claiming it is, and that does look like a master's thing. I mean, the kid is not broke. And again, like I don't necessarily think that this guy having money or that his dad has money or anything like that is necessarily a bad thing, because again, you probably do need some kind of protection to be running all these types of college campus things. Like, I just don't necessarily think that having money or being sponsored or whatever, or even if he did go on the private jet, just like you didn't need to post it because it's a bad look. You have it's basically bait for criticism of an entire movement, and uh, it's just not a good look. So I wonder, like, is the team around him, et cetera, et cetera. So this was going on already. People were discussing this for a while on social media, and uh, then there's been like all these articles saying that he's working with TPUSA, and then this morning Tyler from TPUSA Action said some things, and then tonight he kind of gets into it, Tyler, with Jenna Ellis. So there's like a bunch of lore here that I didn't even know about, that I thought was super interesting. And I see some people saying like more stuff about Brilyn lying. There was one thing that stood out to me that I think is really misleading, and it's a problem because when you go to let me just do this chronologically. I promise I'll go through everything I have, and then I will go back and look up any other links. Like, if you guys have links on Twitter to any of the stuff that you saw on this, like, feel free to send it to me. And also, like, I just want to point out, sometimes people that are wealthy, when they get accused of being wealthy, like, they really don't like it. I've seen it in several situations recently. Okay, cool. Tyler Bowyer liked my response 17 minutes ago because I said, here, I'll share what I said. I said, Charlie told his staff at TPUSA, we don't lie, after colleagues suggested they tell a white lie about an inconsequential booking issue. Ryland, on the other hand, proceeded to twist the truth about his public apology for the tone-deaf private jet video. Of course, he deserves grace, but fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. First, the private jet post, then an apology claiming he couldn't afford a flight after flying private and posting it in the past, getting paid by major political orgs, etc. It's a bit of a letdown. I said it is a bit of a letdown, which is all Tyler originally said. Ryland spinning the story to save face instead of just owning it isn't what Charlie would have mentored him to do. And I stand behind that. I really think it's fair. And here's the other thing, like, Tyler didn't like pile on him as like others are saying, oh, like, I'm going to pull up what Jenna said about people piling on him. Where she's basically like, it's not nice that, people are piling on him, blah, blah, blah. Where is it? And then Andrew, okay, wait, here's something I wanted to show you guys. This like really was a little strange. So Andrew Colvett, who works with Turning Point. He's the TPUSA spokesperson, and he was really, really close with Charlie Kirk. He's been on the Charlie Kirk show like all week long, most of the episodes. He comes in and says, okay. So this is a whole thing that Brilyn says. He says, happy Sunday. I wanted to sit down for a second and introduce myself and provide receipts for all the people who are rightfully cautious in a moment like this. It's okay if you haven't seen me before this week, but I'm definitely not a newcomer. I started my podcast in the 4th grade at 11 years old. Here's the problem with this, and I'm just going to like say this for anybody that's watching that wants to be a leader, and if you're a young person, I just mean this as like constructive criticism and something you can learn from. So he's getting attacked, right? And anytime you get attacked, like the first thing you want to do is defend yourself because it sucks, right? You may have good intentions and people are coming at you from every which way. And when you're a young person, like trying to live up to, let's say, being somebody like Charlie Kirk, and then you get completely piled on, you want to respond. But here's where I think, goes wrong in this response and why it feels disingenuous, I think, to a lot of people, whether he meant to say it like this or not, is that it's all about me, right? I wanted to sit down and introduce myself and provide receipts for all the people who are righteously cautious. It's okay if you haven't seen me before this week, but I'm definitely not a newcomer. I started my podcast in the 4th grade at 11 years old. Like, that's super cool that he did that. But like right now is not a time to like be, again, patting himself on the back, right? Charlie and Candace were 2 of my first ever guests. They were speaking at a local campus together and for some reason took a chance on me. Charlie and I exchanged numbers afterwards and have stayed friends, texting just before the assassination because he took the time to congratulate me on an accomplishment when he definitely didn't have to take the time to do. He came on my podcast a second time just a few years ago. Last year at the RNC, we met up and had a conversation where he encouraged me to start speaking at TPUSA chapters. I had no experience and was nervous, but he said they needed more students speaking to students and I would learn as I go, but he believed in me. I did that tour last year, and that's why I'm speaking at TPUSA chapters again, because he inspired me. TPUSA chapters are doing amazing, and TPUSA and their tours team and local reps are impressing the world as they keep seamlessly pulling off adding more and more chapters. So this is another thing that's interesting because he really kind of connects himself with TPUSA. And this is where you kind of have to pay attention because there's been a lot of reports that it kind of seems like he's doing TPUSA sanctioned events. In other words, that he's somehow officially partnered with TPUSA. And actually, if you go on his page, if you go on his page here, he gets Andrew from TPUSA who comments on this long thing that he just wrote. He says, "The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore, pray earnestly to the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into his harvest. I will pray for your success, Brilyn." And then this guy says, "Something is off about this dude. He's no Charlie. I don't wish him ill will, but I don't wish him ill will, but not who needs to carry the torch." He's saying he's not who needs to carry the torch. Somebody said, Tara says, "As a social media strategist, how many times have you had to hold the mirror to your clients to ground them?" I mean, they have a lot of yes people around sometimes, and that's the problem, that it's hard. I mean, I never had a problem, but then again, they would revolt against me sometimes, but for telling them the truth about what they needed to do. But on this, Andrew Colvett says, no one person will carry the torch. It will take an army. Ryland is doing his own thing. That's important what he's saying. Ryland is doing his own thing. A few local TPUSA chapters are helping him reserve space on campus. So the chapters are essentially like franchises, right? If you want to compare it to kind of like a business type thing, but not a franchise, but you guys know what I'm saying. They are official like TPUSA chapters. They are helping him reserve space on campus, but it's not a TPUSA tour. That said, I don't begrudge him taking the initiative. Here's the problem. So basically, Andrew says, I don't mind him taking initiative, but by the way, this is not an official TPUSA thing. Now, when you look at the posts that Ryland makes about his tour. I want to show you guys. Let me see. Where's the link about the link that Ryland posted about his tour? So he makes this post where he says TPUSA X Brilyn Hollyhand or whatever. And it really does look like, okay, here we go. This is what I wanted to show you guys. This is a concerning thing after you read what he said about what he's doing with TPUSA or whatever. Here, let me. Oh. Hang on.
In just a few minutes, this news is going to be announced on Fox, but I wanted to let all of you hear it directly from me first. I am excited to be partnering with Turning Point USA.
I'm excited to be partnering with Turning Point USA
to tour 10 college campuses.
Across
this great nation this semester, bolder and louder than ever before. We are launching one conversation at a time, traveling to 10 college campuses to speak to the next generation, to carry out Charlie's legacy of having hard conversations to heal the divide in this country. I could not be more excited. I fully understand the risk of this. I've talked thoroughly with my family and my team, and we are aware.
So he has a team and he has a family that cares about him, obviously. So that's why I think it's important that he has security. But you don't have a team. You don't have a team unless they're all working for free, or unless you have some money behind you, right?
That we are in a moment in this nation where we cannot cower, we cannot be silent, and we cannot surrender. So for Charlie, we'll see you on the road really soon.
Okay, and here it is again. TPUSA X Brilyn Hollyhand. So I guess, and I think when you're young, you can sometimes it's easy. I don't necessarily think he meant to do this on purpose, right? Like, I don't think he meant to mislead anybody. I don't know anything about him, but if Charlie Kirk was mentoring him and he wanted to be like Charlie Kirk, I doubt that he was intentionally being misleading. But what is does his team have any input? These are the questions I would be asking. And to say basically, I mean, I learned these things, right? Like when I was younger, I wanted to be associated to certain things. But you have to be careful, because if you claim something and then the owners of the thing are like, oh, this isn't true, or this, it makes you look bad. It makes you look like a liar, even if wasn't your intention, or you're just excited. And so you posted, but like somebody had to make these graphics. Was it him? I don't know. But the point is, it says TPUSA X Brilyn Hollyhand. And maybe he was doing them in partnership with the individual chapters, but it's a bit of, I mean, it even goes against what Andrew, I always mispronounce his name, Andrew from TPUSA said. So, okay, let's just see what else he said, because maybe he brought something up, because at some point, was it this morning? Let me look. Yeah, 3 p.m. So today at 3 p.m. So let me just show you guys what Tyler said. Okay, so Tyler posted this morning. Oh no, this was September 26th. Oh, I think somebody commented. Hang on. Somebody commented about Ryland. Okay. Tyler, there is a little rainstorm brewing with Ryland. Can you help him? He needs some guidance. And then Tyler says, Ryland got paid by Ronna McDaniel when she got reelected. This is the head of the RNC. And really let us all down. And then, so that's all he said. He just said, this is a letdown, right? And then Jenna Ellis, this is where the Jenna Ellis lore comes in. The implication here that Brilyn was a Ronna shill isn't accurate. Brilyn was the RNC Youth co-chair, but he endorsed Harmeet instead. Endorsed Harmeet against Ronna when she got reelected. So Harmeet was my attorney. Now she works, I think, for the Trump administration. But she didn't win. I don't know the whole background on that whole thing. I don't know enough about politics. But then Tyler Bowyer says, well, he says, okay, and so who is Tyler Bowyer? See, I was just I'm finding out these things. But I looked, and I don't know if we ever interacted, but he follows me, which is cool because I do think that he's saying the right things here because he's standing up for, I think, what's right. So this was in 2023. It was announced that he was, CRA is proud to announce that Tyler Bowyer has joined our advisory board. Bowyer is the CEO of Turning Point Action and a member of the Republican National Committee from Arizona. We're honored to have his guidance, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Just so on who he is. And then, oh man, where did this? Oh no, this is the one I was sharing. Hang on. I have so many windows open. This would give anybody who's organized a hard time. Okay. So then, this is what's so crazy about this. Well, let me read these to you guys, and then I'll tell you like the lore behind it or the background. Okay. She says the implication was that she's saying he wasn't a Ronna shill. And then Tyler says, Jenna, I was on the RNC. After she got reelected, he went on full Ronna defense. It wasn't just him, others did it too. And then Ronna goes, that doesn't change my point. He didn't support her, but she's the one who got. Wait, that doesn't change my point. He didn't support her, but she's the one who got elected. What was he supposed to do? Be RNC Youth co-chair and publicly trash her? What's your point of trying to undermine him now? And then Tyler says he should have left the Youth Advisory Council when all others did. Many brave and good conservatives stepped down. He did not. That's my point. And then Jenna says every person has to answer his own conscience. I respect those who step down. I unregistered as a Republican, but I can also understand why he would stay and try to work from within the organization. I just don't get why you dislike him personally. He's a kid trying to emulate Charlie. I'd think you'd champion that like Andrew Colvett just did. We need more of that. And then Tyler says, I mean, it's pretty simple. He simped for Ronna on the fake Youth Advisory Council, and none of us appreciated that. I don't fault a really young person for getting co-opted by big things. You, on the other hand, really don't have a leg to stand on with this sort of topic. And here's why that is freaking hysterical. So I go back to Claude and Perplexity, my AI research tools. And and this is what it tells me. Okay, it says, hang on. Hang on. Okay, well, this is basically what I can summarize about it is that they're different. The reason why he's saying like you can't stand on this or whatever, what did he say? Like, it's like I don't fault a young kid, but I do like fault you, is because she took a plea deal and like basically didn't stand on her convictions, right? And in fact, if the GPT is right, apparently Jenna is testifying against Tyler. Okay, wait, let me just show you guys what okay, wait. Here we go. This is me talking to my GPT. Okay. Um I was like, wait, this is a burn, right? Um So Ronna McDaniel was the RNC chair from 2017 to 24, but faced mounting criticism after Republicans underperformed in the 2022 midterms, and the party faced financial struggles. She eventually resigned in February 2024 after Trump endorsed new leadership. The Youth Advisory Council drama. In December 2023, 5 members of the RNC Youth Advisory Council resigned, calling it a PR stunt with a lack of vision. They claimed the RNC wasn't serious about youth outreach. Ryland was the co-chair of this council and stayed on, defending it by saying the resigning members weren't contributing in the first place. Tyler's burned. Tyler is saying Brilyn shouldn't have resigned, with the other principled conservatives who saw Youth Advisory Council. Jenna Ellis is pointing out that Brilyn actually endorsed Harmeet Dillon, blah, blah, blah. Oh no, but so then I was like, wait, I'm talking about this was a burn against Jenna. What did Jenna Ellis do? So Jenna Ellis flipped. Jenna was Trump's campaign lawyer in 2020 and helped push the fake elector scheme. In October 2023, she pleaded guilty in Georgia to aiding and abetting false statements, gave a tearful apology, and said, if I knew what I know now, I would have declined to represent Donald Trump in these post-election challenges. So basically, she folded for a deal and didn't stand on her beliefs. And so Tyler's saying, like, it says, then she flipped again. In August 2024, she cut a cooperation deal in Arizona, the same case where Tyler Bowyer is a defendant. Jenna agreed to cooperate with prosecutors and testify against her former allies, including potentially Tyler himself. So basically, he's like, you shouldn't be talking about this. You literally flipped, like, you don't stand on your beliefs. She admitted to intentionally aiding and abetting Rudy Giuliani and making false statements, and agreed to testify against all her co-defendants, including Mark Meadows, Giuliani. Why Tyler's burned lands. Tyler got indicted for the fake elector scheme and is still fighting it. He hasn't flipped. I think he pretty much they like thrown it out. I think he's been winning legally. He's standing behind his convictions, and when he was facing felony charges, Jenna got indicted in the same schemes, took plea deals in 2 states, apologized, disavowed Trump, and is now cooperating to testify against people like Tyler. So when Jenna defends Brilyn for standing on principle, Tyler is essentially saying, you literally cooperated with prosecutors and turned on everyone to save yourself. You're testifying against us. You have zero credibility to lecture anyone about principles or loyalty. I mean, that's not what he's saying, but that's what he's basically saying. That's why he says, you, on the other hand, really don't have a leg to stand on with this sort of topic. She's a cooperating witness who flipped on the movement, and now she's trying to defend someone else's character. And here's the reason why this matters, guys. And like, I don't think that, again, like, I don't want to just like pile on this kid, but here's why it does matter. Because when the public thinks that somebody can be bought, right? Because I don't know if you guys know this, but if you get paid by a super PAC, by a 501c4, by any like type of political campaign, if you like receive political campaign money, you do not have to say hashtag ad or hashtag paid for by politics or paid for by anybody. If you're a social media influencer, you don't have to do that. What Tyler said in his post is that he was paid by Ronna at the RNC to say whatever the heck thing was. I mean, he didn't actually come out and say what he was paid for, but he was paid for, he was paid by the RNC. So if you have a kid now, like, and remember, there's this whole drama going on right now about Charlie Kirk and was he offered all this money by Israel and all these other things. So anybody that comes forward to be the next Charlie Kirk, who people don't trust because they think this person is willing to take money to say things, whether that is true or not, it's just not a good look. And so I think maybe unintentionally, this kid Bryland has in the past like sided with the people paying him, or not really stood on principles. And I know for a fact that that's what Charlie encouraged people to do, is stand on their principles and not to lie and not to twist things. And obviously Tyler Bowyer has standed on his principles, because he straight up have like an investigation against him. And Jenna, she doesn't have a leg to stand on this topic, really. So that was what that whole back and forth was online tonight. And then she goes, "You were faulting him, though. Why not try to mentor him like Charlie did and give him some grace?" Andrew's response was far more mature and kind. So now she's lecturing Tyler, who she's literally like, I guess she flipped on him, or like is being, I don't know. I don't know if that's true. That's what at least my AI told me, that she's testifying against Tyler, this TPUSA guy. And so that's when I posted that thing about Charlie said don't lie. Yeah, so people are like not happy with her either. But I saw a lot of people that were unhappy with this whole Brilyn Hollyhand stunt. And I do think it's misleading that his posts say that he's working with TPUSA or he's in partnership with TPUSA, when in fact, let me see if the Instagram post that he posted is on Twitter, because I don't think I saw that on Twitter. And the bottom line, I think, is that here's how I would go about being, picking up Charlie's mic if you're a young person, and, have it be that your intention is not to pat yourself on the back. Have it be that your intention, if your role, like, pray to God and be like, "God, if my role is to be like the behind the scenes person that gets no credibility, no notoriety, would I still be doing this if I got zero notoriety?" Right? Like, you ask yourself, would I still be doing this if I got zero notoriety out of it? Nobody knows my name, and I don't get to ride on private jets, and I don't get any special privileges. Would you still be doing it? And if the answer is yes, then what you want to do is be super specific about what you're doing, right? If you're going around, you're going to do a college tour, say, honestly, this is what I would say. I would say, this is a college tour. This is how I raised the money for it. This is how I'm getting security. Or you could say, we still need to raise money around security or volunteers. We still need to do this. Like, just be upfront, because people don't know who to believe right now. They don't know. They don't believe the government. They don't believe the media. They don't believe anybody. And so it's like a really confusing time for people. I think what I've seen young Christians, what they believe in right now is, when you scroll through Instagram or TikTok and people are saying like, I feel so convicted. I want to go to church after, like, I started watching Charlie Kirk videos and realized like how much he loves the Lord and how much he reads the Bible, and like be inspired by those things, and like really pray about what you're doing. Because I think what's dangerous here is the dangerous thing, it may possibly, likely unintended, if you're going to give this kid the benefit of the doubt, is that now people are going to say, is this kid being paid by Israel? Like, can he be paid off? Blah, blah, blah. And I could see, okay, somebody sent me a video of, I did see this. Share it.
It's also an incredible story that you share with us really quickly, Brilyn, about fourth grade, a podcast. That's incredible. And Charlie Kirk appears on your podcast. Tell me about the role he played for you as a mentor.
Yeah, again, it's somebody that didn't have to do that. He was on Fox News every other hour that year. He didn't have to make time for me as an 11-year-old with this upcoming podcast in the fourth grade to come on and join me, but he did. And not only was it a one-time thing, I've interviewed hundreds of people that I've never talked to again. He stayed a mentor, and he texted me up until this week when I was on another Fox show congratulating me. Like, he didn't have to do that. He could have given me his compliment.
Here's one thing I will give this kid. So at one point when I got smeared by the New York Times, Taylor Lorenz used the fact that, like I said, I was mentored by Gary Vee against me. And basically in the article was like, yeah, we called Gary Vee and he has nothing to do, or he's not affiliated with her company, which in fact is true. He wasn't like my business partner. He wasn't affiliated, but you can say that somebody is your mentor. That doesn't mean that like you've partnered with them. I don't think it's misleading in any way to say somebody is your mentor, as long as you can like speak to them on the phone and they can talk to you and, you know, you have access to them. Like, it doesn't matter if they mentor you every day or they mentor you, you know, a couple times in your, you know, I don't know, a year or something like that. But I don't think there's anything wrong with him saying that. I don't think that that's misleading, but
he could have said, oh, I'm not going to give this kid time, but he did. And what I think the larger theme here is the left loves to preach tolerance.
I think he's reading off of a teleprompter or something. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I
love to preach tolerance. And in situations like this, that's the last thing we're seeing. The media coverage on the other side of the aisle is not like this. I was just scrolling through channels, and obviously the person that took this life, this is heartbreaking, Will. And I really hope, if anything, that people get off the sidelines. This weekend, I'm going to a youth rally in South Carolina, and you better believe that
So people are criticizing him because it seems like he's laughing. You know, this is like right when Charlie was, this was the day he lost his life and stuff. I don't know if he was laughing. I honestly think he was probably just reading from a teleprompter or something like that. And he can't like really see the way it comes off. But I don't necessarily think this to me, like on a scale to 1 to 10 is like a 3 or 2 in terms of a bad look. The private jet thing was up there.
Already had my team shoot me text saying, Brilyn, you really need to caution this. You really need to think about not standing in the middle of a park and speak to the next generation. But I am more energized than ever to carry on this torch, to carry on this legacy. Because
okay, I see what you guys are saying. So it kind of seems like he's capitalizing on it.
That's what Charlie would have wanted. He would have wanted us to continue to fight the good fight, just like he did.
I wonder if he was already planning to do this tour. I just have a lot of questions.
No doubt, Ryland. No doubt. Thank you so much.
I think it's not even a matter of like somebody doing something wrong, and more just like, you know, when you're young like this and you're going to do like, you know, campus tours and everything like that, I would just wish, you know, everybody would have good mentors that advise them on these kinds of things. I think instead of like lashing back out at people because people criticize him about the private jet, maybe something that would have helped would have just been like a more honest moment about, like, instead of being like, oh, I see the keyboard warriors are out, I would have been like, hey, guys, I'm not Charlie Kirk. I'm not partnered with him officially. I am simply, I have some, you know, I have an organization. We've been planning this forever. How long? Or we just, I mean, if he announced it right when Charlie Kirk passed, then that means he was already planning to do this. So in a way, it is kind of like riding on the, you know, Charlie Kirk thing. But I don't think there's anything wrong with, you know, using what people are talking about online to latch on to something that you want to promote. The problem is you could go on and just say, I'm not partnered officially with TPUSA. I'm not Charlie Kirk. I am completely, you know, I have flaws. Like, you guys are roasting me. Like, yeah, my parents do have money, but I'm using it for good. I'm using it to go out and do these things. And I get that it was a bad look to go on the private jet. You know, Charlie, I think Charlie flew private, and you don't see him talking about He never brings up the fact that, he's on a private jet, or I haven't seen it. Maybe he does post a lot of videos on his private jet, but I never saw it. I saw him talking. I have seen when Charlie Kirk was talking about his security, but it was because other people brought it up. Bill Maher brought it up when he was on his podcast. He was like, wow, you come in with big security guards. Like, you always travel with those guys. So you wouldn't have, like, Charlie wasn't bringing it up. It was other people. And then he comments on it. He's like, oh yeah, but I'm fine. So it comes off a way more humble, and humility was something that Charlie Kirk always talked about. I saw him. Honestly, I hadn't really watched many of his videos until after he passed away. In fact, I went to a TPUSA event year before last, I believe it was, and I like wanted to connect, I think, with Tucker Carlson, and I realized that I sat in a room where Tucker was being interviewed by Charlie, and I was like so kind of had like a goal in connecting with Tucker on that trip that I didn't even really pay any mind to Charlie Kirk. I can't remember what his points of view were in that conversation, where I sat basically at a live taping of the TPU or of the Charlie Kirk show. So like, he was not on my radar really in any way, shape, or form, which I wish that would have been different now that I like know that he always talks about Christian values and about the Bible. And that's really because I honestly, guys, like, I'm not a political person. Like, I have a lot of friends on the right because they stood up for me when the New York Times trashed me. And so I met a lot of people on Twitter that are right wing, and I agree with, a lot of things my friends say on that side, but I have friends on the left too. The point is, I don't like, I think young people have a lot of things to learn when it comes to sensitive things like this. It's just, the whole thing is this a bad look? Let me see if there's anything else he said. Yeah. It just comes off a bit disingenuous. Like, I do think he should have just been like, hey guys, I'm not affiliated with TPUSA. This is what I'm doing. The TPUSA team has helped me, organize with these colleges. This is how I'm funding this. This is how I can use your help. This is, excuse me, anything. And but to say, like, to go on the defensive and say like, oh, I can't afford to do this. Well, most, 19-year-old kids can't afford a lot of things. But if you watch my channel, I've been covering the Fraser bomb, what I think is an unfair prosecution, because they charged this 22-year-old kid, Fraser bomb, with 4 counts of murder, when anybody else, I think, would have been charged with like vehicular homicide or whatever, not 4 charges like that. And in all the media reports, they're like, rich kid from Malibu, like, does XYZ, and I think probably from his side, he wants to be like, well, I'm not rich. I don't have 2 cents to rub together. I think Alan Jackson, who's his attorney, went on Billy Bush's podcast and was like, yeah, he's not rich, but the fact is, it's like, yes, it's not cool when you just roast people. Like, you charge a kid unfairly because he's rich. That's not right. That's discrimination based. It shouldn't matter how much money you have on how they're charging you. But at the same time, it wouldn't be a good look for like Fraser Baum to come out, or, people around him to come out and be like, well, he's not rich. Listen, your family had a house in Malibu and you were driving a super fast, like, BMW, or, it wasn't the latest model, but like, to most people, that's, you live in a wealthy place. So to come out and be like, well, I'm not rich, it's a bad look, and it's very tone deaf, in my opinion. And so I hope these kids get guidance. Look, I think it's a great thing that people want to come out and do these things, but I do think it's dangerous when people think that you can be bought. If Tyler is right in saying that Ron at the RNC paid this guy, and now he's basically coming on being like, I have no money, or I couldn't afford a flight. I don't know where the flight was, and what too. Was it that, like, you couldn't get there because you were at school, or was it that the whole thing is just, it's not a good look. And so anyway, I think he really hurt his chances if he wanted to be the protege. And I don't know. What do you guys think? I played the videos. Swain Wade says, sounds like Ben Shapiro saying he's going to pick up microphone. Yeah. So I guess I'm going to, how do I leave you guys? I think these kids need mentoring, and not by Jenna Ellis, right? It's a really what is it called? Like, dangerous time right now. You got to be, if you're going to do this thing, you got to really do it for the right reasons. I feel like I sound like somebody on The Bachelor, like somebody talking about, are you on The Bachelor for the right reasons? But I think if you're going to be following in Charlie Kirk's footsteps, you really have to do it for the right reasons. Someone said if you can't afford a flight, you take a bus. I kind of disagree. Okay, but I think what the kid was saying is, like, in order to get there in time for the thing, like, blah, 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 I had to take this flight, which may be true. Yes, maybe you take a bus, but if you're going to take a private jet, either say, like, thank you to so-and-so for flying me, like, but maybe that person doesn't want you to, maybe these donors don't want you to know, don't want to be exposed on who they are or whatever. But, like, just be honest. And also, like, posting on a private jet after this Charlie just died. Like, it's almost like you're trying to be flexing. That's what people didn't like. And then instead of, like, sincerely apologizing, you go and blame the internet trolls. But a lot of these people are not internet trolls. They're people like you and I who are like, this does not sit well with me. And so that it's not just the internet trolls that it didn't sit well with. I didn't say anything about it. Honestly, I was going to say, I'm, like, starting to mind my P's and Q's because, I just feel like some battles are not worth fighting. But I'm not even really fighting anything on this. I just wanted to come on and talk to hopefully encourage, if there's any young people out there that you want to be like Charlie Kirk or you want to be like some kind of a leader, just be aware of what these things look like. And I think if you are, I think young people, what I saw when I represented dozens of TikTok stars is just like they're so hungry for fame and attention and validation that they do these missteps, which I think, I think this whole thing with the private jet could really hurt if Ryland was trying to do what Charlie Kirk does. Like, he really ruined his chances of people taking him seriously because he made a big mistake. And I don't think that he's going to be able to fix that without coming out and acknowledging these situations where he's, it just doesn't come off as sincere. And if Tyler's right about the fact that he kind of pandered to Ronna. Oh, I did want to pull up one last thing because I saw that okay, wait, I'm not done with this stream. Sorry, guys. I have to finish reading. I just got distracted. This is important to talk about. Okay. So I never finished reading his post. So Brilyn posted after Tyler posted this morning, like, that he was let down by him. This is what he says. And I think this is going to rub me the wrong way too. Ugh. Okay. Oh yeah, because we stopped at talking about how he was on his podcast. Okay. I went from podcasting to national politics a little more in 2023 because I got called out because I called out the rhinos at the RNC at the time and begged that we not go back to the neocon Bush days, but instead clean house and make it MAGA. I endorsed Harmeet for chair. Sadly, she lost, but she and others helped me get to still be a part of that cleaning house conversation by building the first of its kind youth council for the 2024 election. I'm doing this tour now to try to motivate young people. I'm getting nothing but hate from it. No paycheck or speaking fee or anything like that. We're not selling anything. I'm just walking in and talking and trying to show them if I can get involved in the 4th grade, then they can too. As for other concerns, for any nosy people, I'm a Baptist, which is where I went to church this morning, like I have every Sunday for the past 19 years. Jesus is king, always has been, always will be. See, I don't know why he has to say it like, and for any nosy people, it's just a weird thing to say. And do a little research before believing anything from random troll claim. Oh, and do a little research before believing anything random trolls claim. So who's he calling a random troll? My family has only ever donated to local politicians, just like every businessman in America. What? Just like every businessman in America? That's weird as well. Because like Elon Musk is a businessman and I don't understand the point of saying it like that. Okay, if you think supporting a city councilor gets me to where I am today, you're sadly mistaken. Finally, again, it's about where he is today. Like, finally, I said this to the New York Post, but everybody just read the headline and not the article. I'm not Charlie. I'll never be Charlie, and I don't want to be Charlie. I can't. He was one of one. I'm Bryland, and if I seem eager, it's because I am. I watched a guy I looked up to get shot, and I'm determined to make sure he didn't die in vain and inspire my peers to carry out his legacy. Okay, that's fine. This is all God. I didn't work hard enough for it. Nobody bought it. Oh, I didn't work hard enough for it. Nobody bought it for me. This is impossible in any other scenario without God. I'm legitimately making $0. TV hits don't make money. That's like pretty disingenuous because like, what do you want for your career? And TV hits make you famous, which in turn make you money. I'm sorry, but I'm just going to call that out right there. That's just very disingenuous in my opinion. Campus speeches don't make money. This overseas money that's tied to me hasn't hit my account yet, or I wouldn't be at college working so hard to get a degree. That's a weird thing to say. People are saying he's getting money from overseas. It's okay to be cautious. I'm not even asking you to support me. I just wanted to share. Okay, he is asking people to support him though. It's just, who is telling him to write this? Is he writing it all, or like, I just wanted to share that we're on the same side, and like Charlie always encouraged me, I'm going to keep going onward. And he always liked to sign texts. I hope you're with me. If you're not, it's okay, but it's certainly not going to stop me.
Hi, America. I'm Brilyn Hollyhand, editor-in-chief of the Truth Gazette. This is the big reveal. We are here.
What? How does he say his name?
Big reveal. Hi, America. I'm Brilyn Hollyhand,
Ryland.
editor-in-chief of the Truth Gazette. This is the big reveal. We are here with Charlie Kirk and Keenis Owens from Turning Point USA. We just sat down for an exclusive interview before they speak tonight.
Oh, I love Charlie's smile.
2018 Alabama
So sad.
Summer Dinner. We discussed the Trump administration, fake news media.
Okay, so like it's cute. He was like a cute kid. They were.
Charlie really means a lot. Charlie really means a lot.
Thank you.
I'm obviously a huge fan, supportive of you and your work, value our friendship and all the projects you've done.
You do a great job.
Looking forward to one.
If you are relentless as you are at 15, we'll all be working for you. I'll tell you, that's nonstop. I know grit when I see it. It's good.
Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I'll say this. Last time we sat down in the same
Yes.
place, you were a young single bachelor.
Oh, yeah.
This time you bought your wonderful
Right there. Everyone go get married.
Next time they
Yeah. All right. So that's that. I think I'm sure people are lying about him, and I think it's all right to say the truth when people are like piling on, but just my 2 cents. Ryland, I think you should keep going. I think Charlie genuinely believed in you and believes in you from up above. I think that I think we do have to give people grace, but I think that the problem is if you keep making the same mistake over and over again and you want everybody in the conservative movement or the Christian world to like give you grace and forgive you every time, but you're kind of going out there and making it all about you, or um, you know, I think when you're being questioned because it was a bad look to get on the private jet, like you don't have to attack the critics. You can just be like, "Hey guys, I made a mistake. Like I shouldn't have done that." Not be like, "Hey guys, I'm actually broke." Like it just smells off. So there's a saying in Spanish my mom used to say, and I don't know how to say it exactly the same way in English, but it's like, "No hagas cosas buenas que parezcan malas, ni cosas malas que parezcan buenas." In other words, like, don't do bad things that make you look good, or things that are actually good that make you look bad. I don't know if that's a good translation of what I'm trying to say, but basically, perception is reality, I guess. And if you make a misstep, pray about it and just try to do better. But if you are somebody that is trying way too hard to be famous, like you're not going to make it in this environment because people are going to call you out. They're going to they're going to reverse Google search your watch. They're going to find out where your master's shirt, how much it costs. They're going to find out everything about you. And I think the kid like had posted in the past, like about a private jet and all this stuff. Like that's superficial stuff that like, yeah, it's super fun. Like I've been on a private jet too, and like, look, I've posted about it, but I wasn't doing what he's doing in the situation that he's in. A very delicate situation, and anything related to TPUSA. I mean, poor Erica is like going on the Charlie Kirk show because so many people want to hear from her, and now people are criticizing her for. I mean, every step that TPUSA makes right now is going to be analyzed and criticized by so many people, and I think it's wrong to kind of let people assume things such as I'm in partnership with, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to give this kid the benefit of the doubt. I doubt Andrew would be supporting him if he was like a completely bad intentioned person. But I do think if you're going to be doing all those things, you have to tread carefully, because I think that even though if you have a lot of, excitement around a thing, it just could hurt I think if you take it and you make it all about you and you don't think first about everybody else in the situation, as a young person, such an easy mistake to make, that could be really detrimental for what you want to accomplish ultimately. And so just be thank you. Just be honest and be sincere. I think that's my message tonight to anybody that's a young person that wants to make it in the industry, in politics and leadership and whatever you're doing. I'm not a politics expert, but Erica, Ari, keep your eyes on Jesus, my friend. Your future is so bright. Just stopping by to send love. Thank you so much. That's so kind. And that's really like, honestly, I know this channel, like I criticize people sometimes, but I think where my content is going is less kind of like roasting people and more like how can we what would Jesus do? I don't know if like that it was like a millennial thing. We used to have the WWJD bands. Maybe we should bring those back. What would Jesus do? Bands, because anyway, I just want to give some encouragement to people that want to be like Charlie Kirk, want to help, but also just be honest and be authentic. All right. So anyway, Thank you guys for joining me. I hope you guys have a great night and have a great week ahead. And let's end with my favorite song. See you guys on the next one. Bye. Where is my favorite song? Is it in here?
Watch your step. She's here to play. And though she be but little, she is fierce. Takes the drama, cuts it clear. This is the Little Miss Jacob show. Bullies beware, she'll take you down in a thread, you know. Play it cool, keep it calm, let the rhythm flow. Climbing high while they're stuck down below. No shortcuts, no cheats, she's here to win. Every comeback's fire, let the games begin. Oh, keep it tight, watch the moves unfold. Every word's a strike, every line is gold. Take your shot, but she's 10 steps ahead. Every headline reads the thread she just said. It's the rhythm of the bold, the beat of the free, the sound of ambition, the way it should be. Step by step, let the groove take control. Turn the highs and lows into pure gold. This is the show. This is the vibe. The Little Miss Jacob groove is alive.
Bye.
And though she be but little, she is fierce. Cuts through the noise with words that pierce.